And of course, drop your comments on the links down below so we can discuss your opinions, discuss your thoughts, and discuss your hottest of the hottest takes and comments down below, because I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you, Mr. Old Man River. He says, hit the like button and subscribe, and Pigskin Pundits get you some.
Pigskin Pun, get you some.
Yes, sir, guys. Yes, sir. Be like Old Man Rivers here. Be like Mr. John. Head over to youtube.com/manhour. Hit the membership tab. 99 cents a month. That gets you free entry at the weekly NFL Pick'ems. So, guys, I am back. Yesterday was a little up and down. Today's been up and down. I am sick. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to hide behind it. I am sick. I am down under the weather, but we got to push through it. We got to push through it. John also says, what is up? Listen, man, I am sick. I'm sick. But we do got to talk about arguably one of the best divisions in the NFL game. We got to talk about arguably the best team in the NFC. We got to talk about arguably the best team in the NFL. And we go to our contenders or pretender series, and we've done the NFC North. And now we got to head over to the NFC East, guys. Because the question is simple. When we head to the NFC East, are the Dallas Cowboys contenders or pretenders heading into the 2026 NFL season? Now, I'm going to say something that is going to make half of the internet roll their eyes. I'm going to say something that now is going to make the other half of the internet call me a homer. I'm going to say something right now that's going to make everybody a Dallas Cowboys hater. But the truth of the matter is, guys, the Dallas Cowboys are contenders. And remember what a contender means in this series. I'm not saying the Dallas Cowboys are winning the Super Bowl yet. I'm not even going to say that they're going to win the NFC East yet. But I am saying the Dallas Cowboys will make the playoffs in 2026. Because when you actually look at what held the team back last season, and they attacked it all off season. The Dallas Cowboys went 7-9-1 last season. And that record looks terrible until you realize how ridiculous their defense was. The Dallas Cowboys allowed 511 points last season, the most in the entire NFL and most in franchise history. Matter of fact, they allowed 30.1 points per game and also finished dead last in passing yards allowed per game. So simply put, that defense was bad. It was radioactive. But here's why I'm buying the Dallas Cowboys this season. They didn't spend the offseason pretending everything was fine. They went after the defense. They hired Christian Parker as the defensive coordinator after he worked with Vic Fangio in Philadelphia. They traded for Rashad Gary. They added linebacker Heppen D. Winters, and they used the draft to grab Caleb Downs at number 11 and Malachi Lawrence at number 23. And the Dallas Cowboys added 3 other defenders within the first 4 rounds. Matter of fact, NFL.com and Man Hour Nation gave their offseason an A-, especially because how aggressively attacked their defensive problem. And now, you pair that with part of the defense that was actually good last season, the offense, baby, they coming. Matter of fact, there were stretches last year where the Dallas had one of the best offenses in the entire NFL. Through 7 games, they were leading the league in yards per game and were second in scoring at 31.7 points per game. You still have Dak Prescott. You still have CeeDee Lamb. You kept George Pickens with the franchise tag. You still have Javonte Williams back. And they brought on Jadon Blue, has reportedly been flashing throughout training camp at another explosive option in the backfield. Excuse me, guys. Like I said, I am down with the sickness. So Dallas doesn't need magically to become the 2000 Ravens on defense. That is the key for the Dallas Cowboys this season. If the Cowboys simply goes from 32nd to 18, this becomes a completely different football team. 32nd to 18th on the defensive side of the ball. Forgot to say that. And if Dallas can give Dak an average defense instead of asking him to win shootouts every single Sunday, how many of those close games fit? A lot of them do, because that's where winning 7 games with the defense running 30 points a game every week. Give me that offense. Give me the additions on defense. Give me Caleb Downs flying around the secondary. Give me Rashad Gary coming off the edge. And give me a defensive coordinator who comes from Vic Fangio's tree, was brought in specifically to fix the blown coverage and missed assignments. Ooh, baby. I am buying the Dallas Cowboys. I am buying the Dallas Cowboys all year long. The Dallas Cowboys are contenders. Not because the stars on the helmet, not because they're Dallas, because their biggest reason they missed the playoffs last season was to dress aggressively this offseason. I think the Dallas Cowboys get back above 500 into the NFC playoff picture and grab one of those 7 spots. Cowboys fans, Man Hour Nation, Pigskin Pundits, give me your record prediction for the Dallas Cowboys in 2026. Hit the like button, guys. Subscribe to Man Hour at youtube.com/Man Hour. And remember, we're live Monday through Thursday at 9 p.m. East Coast time for another week or two. Then we're back to the 7 p.m. time slot. Guys, Dallas is a contender. So let's get into the comments and discuss your thoughts. John Peoples picks some pundit.
Pigskin pun. Get you some.
He says they're pretenders. John Peoples says the Dallas Cowboys are pretenders. They can put lipstick on a pig, but it is still a pig. Listen, John. Josh Olsen, I see you too. Pigskin Pundits. What is the best breakfast side in all of America? When you think of breakfast on a side, what do you think? Give me that bacon, baby. What does your dad say when he goes to work? I'm bringing home the bacon, baby. So when you say pig in Dallas Cowboys, we bringing home the bacon, we bringing home the pig. Hey, put some lipstick on the pig. We go on the moon, baby. Pretenders? Pretenders? Come on, John. Come on. Josh Olsen says that they are contenders, but their defense could be shaky this season. And Josh, you are absolutely 100% spot on. The Dallas Cowboys could and most likely will have a shaky defense the first 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks of the NFL season. They could very easily be a very, very shaky defense the first half of the year. But shaky is a hell of a lot better than worse, right? They could be 15th, 14th, and 13th, and still the Dallas Cowboys can win a lot of football games this particular season. So, guys, let me know what you think. Are the Dallas Cowboys contenders or are they pretenders? Let me know down in the comments down below. Yenzer says hash browns is another good size for breakfast with some ketchup. Listen, Yenzer, first of all, welcome to the show, Yenzer. Long time no see. But when you think of breakfast, when you have pancakes, it's pancakes and bacon. When you have French toast, it's French toast and bacon. When it's waffles, it's waffles and bacon. Your first choice is not going to be hash browns. It's not going to be sausage. It's not going to be some over easy scrambled eggs. Like, come on, it's going to be bacon. We know that. I know that. You know that. The world knows that. Bring it home the bacon, baby. But let's talk about the New York Football Giants. New York Football Giants. Guys, I'm sorry. I am down with sickness, and it has hit me like a ton of bricks. So let's power through this NFC East here. And guys, help me down in the comments down below. Because this question starts off very, very simple. Are the New York Football Giants contenders or pretenders in 2026? Now, here comes my surprise in the NFC East. Because I have been kind of high on the New York Football Giants all offseason. Matter of fact, I was kind of high on them last year. I said they were average quarterback play of basically making the playoffs. And every time the New York Giants sneak into the playoffs, they're a threat. Guys, the New York Giants, in my opinions, are contenders this season. Yes, those New York Football Giants playoff bound, baby. And before you tell me I'm crazy, go look at what New York actually did this offseason. Because this isn't the same Giants team we've been watching wander the NFC East trying to find the light switch for the last couple seasons. It starts off with John Harbaugh. That matters. You bring in a coach who spent 18 years with the Baltimore Ravens and has already won a Super Bowl. And Harbaugh didn't come to New York on a 5-year science experience. He has openly talked about making the playoffs in year 1. Then you get into the quarterback situation. Mr. Jackson Blue Tent Dart. Now, guys, Jackson Dart has showed enough during his rookie season to make believe that this kid can take the next step. He finished his rookie season with 24 total touchdowns, despite going through injuries, a coaching change, and a season where basically everything around him was unstable. And now he gets an entire offseason knowing that this is his football team, no quarterback competition, no veteran sitting above him, no wondering where he's going to get his opportunity. This is Jackson Dart's team. And look at the weapons. Got Malik Neighbors, Cam Scatterbo, Isaiah Likely, Darnell Mooney to stretch the field, and they drafted Malachi Fields as well. Suddenly, Jackson Dart has options. And suddenly, the Giants weren't just throwing money and flashy offense of like players. They are doing the real thing. They attack the roster everywhere. They signed linebacker Tremaine Edmonds. They added corner Greg Newsome to second. They brought in defensive tackle DJ Redder and Shelby Harris. They win it in the draft and landed like Avril Reese at number 5, Francis Mongoli at number 10, and Colton Hood at number 37. Ooh, baby. NFL.com actually gave the Giants an A+ for their offseason and called them one of the sleeper teams of 2026. That's why they got my A attention. Not because of NFL.com, because of the offseason. But here's a stat that I really, really liked. The Giants went 1-7 in one-score games last season. 1-7. That tells me there wasn't necessarily a roster that was getting blown off the field each and every week. They just couldn't finish. They couldn't close the games. They couldn't make that one play that turned a loss into a win. Who do you hire? John Harbaugh. And that's exactly where coaching matters. Flip those 3-score games into flip 3 of those one-loss scores into wins. You're talking about a completely different season. And if Jackson Dart takes a normal year 2 quarterback jump, look out. I'm not telling you that the New York Giants are going to go 13-4. They don't have to. Get me 9 or 10 wins, get yourself into a wild card race, and win 7 NFC playoffs. And then with that 7th NFC playoff spots available, I'm putting New York in one of them. Dallas and the New York Giants are going to completely change the conversation around this division. Guys, the New York Giants, simply put, are contenders. Jackson Dart takes a year 2 leap. Harbaugh changes the culture, and the offensive weapons get healthier and stay healthier. And that young defense starts turning into some of those one-score losses into wins. The Man Hour Nation pigskin pundits, how many wins for the New York Football Giants in year 1 underneath John Harbaugh? Guys, hit the like button. Subscribe to the Man Hour. NFL Talk. And remember, we're live Monday through Thursday at 9 p.m. East Coast time. Guys, the question is Big Blue going back to the playoffs? Let's get into the comments and discuss your thoughts. Yenzer says the Giants are going to disappoint like the Eagles are going to do. Why do you say that, Yenzer? Why do you think the Giants are going to disappoint? Because arguably, if you look at Vegas standards, right, the win-loss predictions for the New York Giants, I think they're sitting at about 5. They're sitting about 5. Jackson Dart, yes, he does injury prone. Yes, he does find the blue tent a lot. But at the end of the day, Jackson Dart is going to be the starting quarterback of the New York Football Giants. Cam Scatterbo is going to be the guy. And they do have elite defense. We look at that front 7 for the New York Giants. It's pretty damn elite. Matter of fact, I'm going to go out on a limb and say they got better when they traded Dexter Lawrence to the Cincinnati Bengals. Addition by subtraction there. Josh Olsen says they are pretenders as well. They'll do better this season, says Josh, but they were 1-7 in one-score games last season. Exactly, Josh. Exactly. So law of averages, right? The Giants were a 4-win team last season. You flip 3 of those one-score games into victories, all of a sudden you're a 7-win team. All of a sudden, we are looking a hell of a lot better going into year 2 of Jackson Dart and year 1 of John Harbaugh. Actually, they may not even have Coach John Harbaugh at this particular point. But the simple fact of the matter is, Josh, I've said this on many, many shows, law of averages always equal out. When you look at the Kansas City Chiefs just a couple years ago, we were 11-0 in one-score games. What happened last season? The ball bounced the other way, and all those one-score games, we landed on the opposite stick because it always evens out. The Giants will eventually even out this season. Mike says, all I care is that they sweep them Eagles. Facts, baby. Facts. David says, man, are you still sick? Yeah, brother. Listen, I have been down with the sickness since Monday night. I thought I was better this afternoon, jumped on the daily huddle, went to football practice, come out here to prep for my show. And literally as I went to go push live, this massive cough came back, and my head is like, dum, 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 dum. Yeah, you guys forget like on those splitting headaches, just like, duh, right? That's exactly what is happening right now. David White says Matt Nagy is a Giants offensive coordinator. They won't contend. As that is correct, Matt Nagy is the offensive coordinator for the New York Football Giants. However, I do not think he will be the play caller. I think the John Harbaugh effect, his play calling, his style is going to take over. Matt Nagy is simply just a figurehead that will ultimately end up get fired at the end of the season, if not midway through the season at all this season. Josh Olsen said the Giants will finish 7-10. There are too many good teams in the NFC. Josh, I do not disagree with that statement right there. The NFC definitely has a lot of good teams, and arguably 4 of them are from the NFC North. Arguably 3 of them are from the NFC East. The NFC is very, very balanced from top to bottom. In years past, it's been the cream of the crop, right? You've had your top three, maybe 4 teams, and then everybody else. Now, right now, legitimately, it's from 1 to about 9, maybe 10. Anybody can win any given Sunday. I will give you that statement. That is a very, very fair statement. Yender says quarterback Jackson Dart flashed potential, but question remained regarding his deep passing decision-making and reckless running style that increase his injury risk. All facts there. Those are all facts. However, the going deep aspect of Jackson Dart's game is going to be regulated with John Harbaugh. I think John Harbaugh is a great X's and O's coach, and he is going to nickel and dime it down the field with safe plays with Cam Scatabo running the ball probably 20 to 25 times a game. Now, his reckless running style, that is also a factual statement. He does not like to go out of bounds. Maybe underneath year 2, maybe being knocked out of 3 games last season, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe he has taken a better approach. Maybe he has like, hey, maybe if I want to have a long, lucrative career in the NFL, I need to maybe take this step out. Take a playbook from Michael Vick from like year 2 to like year 4, right? We saw Michael Vick, a dynamic runner, and then like year 4, right before he got into the dog fighting thing, he became a very, very good pocket passer. So I'm not comparing Jackson Dart to Michael Vick. Do not get that twisted, but I'm saying like maybe that will happen. Yinzer also says New York faces the 8th hardest overall schedule in the NFL. Plus, NFL has passed John Harbaugh, but his best coaching days are behind him. Yinzer, the win-loss schedule from last season, that is just a arbitrary number that we like to attach to. Like, you play the hardest schedule, you play the easiest schedule. That doesn't translate into 2020 to 26. So I want to discredit that. The 8th hardest schedule, we won't know that till like week 10 how hard their schedule actually is. Now to address the John Harbaugh with his best coaching days past him. If John Harbaugh was still in Baltimore, I would concur with that. I would concur that his best passing days in Baltimore are well past him. But as a coach myself that have gone to, quote, greener pastures, right? Sometimes all you need is that fresh start to really rejuvenate your career, right? Because like when you are stagnant at a place for 6, 7, 8, 19 years, right? All you need sometimes is just be like, that shade of green looks pretty good. That shade of blue looks pretty good. Let me go over there. Let me get a fresh perspective on life. Let me take a deep breath. Let me go to some coaching clinics, talk to some guys, get that fire back. And maybe that's what Harbaugh needs. I mean, honestly, I think Mike Tomlin needed that. I think Mike McCarthy needed that when he left the Green Bay Packers. John Harbaugh needed that. Andy Reid needed that. I mean, are we to say Andy Reid's best coaching days are past him when he left the Philadelphia Eagles? No. I mean, hindsight's 2020, but Eagles fans wanted Andy Reid out because his best coaching days were past him. It is all about the just a new outlook on life. That's what I'm trying to say. Cam Scatterbo says, Jenser says, brains are pre-scrambled eggs. Hey, I don't care. Just run downhill, brother. Run downhill, run through a wall, get me sick. Give me sick. Give me six. That's all that happens. Yenzer also says New York is going to have a very, very good defense. Offensively, I think they struggle. And I do not disagree with that. However, if the defense is competent, let's say a top 10 defense, which I think we all can arguably kind of agree that they could definitely be up there. If the offense is just the 16th, 17th, 18th ranked offense, scoring about 13, 14 points a game, and your defense hold teams to 10 points a game, that's winning football, i.e. 2000 Baltimore Ravens. I'm not saying that they're the 2000 Ravens. Do not get that twisted. Do not get it twisted, but I'm saying i.e. like example. An example of falling off the cliff is Washington Commanders. Guys, the Washington Commanders are a team that I don't know what to do with my hands. Every time I start to like them, they lose a player. Every time I start to hate them, they add a player. Every time I start to like doubt them, they go and smack a baby mama in the mouth. Every time I start to like them, they sign Stephon Diggs. Like, what is going on? But guys, question right now: our third team in the NFC East, are the Washington Commanders contenders or pretenders heading into 2026? And the more I go back and forth on the Washington Commanders, the more I really get down there and start to think about them, the more I actually look at their team, look at their schedule, look at what is going on. Guys, I'm selling the Washington Commanders. I think the Washington Commanders are pretenders. And I know exactly what people are going to say. But Buck, I'm talking to you, Jeter, but Buck, they have Jane Daniels. I know. And I like Jane Daniels. But this is the NFL. Having that quarterback doesn't magically erase every other problem on your roster. Because let's rewind. 2 years ago, Washington made the NFC Championship game. Jaden Daniels looked like the next superstar quarterback in football. Everybody thought Washington had arrived. And then 2025 happened. The Commanders went 5-12. Jaden Daniels missed 10 games because of injury. And suddenly that magical run from the previous season fell a long way. But the quarterback injury isn't even my biggest concern. It was the defense. Washington's defense finished with the worst scoring defense in football for the second time in 3 seasons. They had their third worst defensive success rate. They had a second worst EPA per play. And they finished with the second most missed tackles in the entire NFL. That is just not one hole. That's the entire side of your football team not knowing how to play football. And the pass rush wasn't even getting home either. Washington ranked 24th in pass pressure with a rate of 32.5% last season. Then look at the names that walked out the door. Von Miller, Bobby Wagner, Rashawn Lattimore, Deebo Samuel, Zach Ertz, Austin Eckler, Tyler Babez, just to name a few. Washington lost veterans everywhere. And here's the other issue. Who is the reliable number 2 receiver besides Terry McLaurin? Are we banking on Stephon Diggs this season? I don't know. Right now, that remains one of the biggest questions on the roster. Now, they still have Tylen Brooks that people think are going to step up. They have De'Ami Brown that people think are going to step up. Luke McCaffrey thinks he's going to try to step up. But to be determined. So right now, if you're asking Daniels to stay healthy, carrying offense that lost weapons, and potentially play in shootouts because I'm still not convinced that the defense can be fixed, that's a little bit too much, especially in this division. I have Dallas getting better. I have the Giants getting better. And although I'm selling the Philadelphia Eagles as well, spoiler alert, the Eagles still have enough talent to make that division games brutal. Washington isn't going 6 free wins inside the NFC East. And I think people are still looking at this team through a lens what happened 2 years ago. That's dangerous. The NFL championship appearance was real. It was awesome. But it doesn't give you wins in 2026. The current roster does. And the current roster has too many holes right now. Simply put, I think the Washington Commanders are pretenders going into 2026. Jay Daniels will have some great games. They will upset somebody, and they will be Sundays where people start to tell me that I was wrong. But when we reach January, I don't think Washington is one of the 7 NFC teams left standing. So Pigskin Pundits, Men Our Nation, Huddle Sports Network. Am I being disrespectful to Washington, or are people still living off the AFC Championship run? Like the video, guys. Subscribe to the Man Hour NFL Talk, and remember, we're live Monday through Thursday at 9 p.m. East Coast time, right here at youtube.com/Man Hour. I think the Commanders are pretenders, but let's get into the comments to discuss your thoughts. Andrew said, I am also sick. My head is killing me. Plus, on Friday, I had a nail removed from my leg. That's tough. There's some sickness going around, and we can all blame Donald Trump for it, I think, right? I think he did it. Josh Olson says, I agree with you. Everything you said about the strength of schedule is arbitrary. Listen, it is a night. So when we talk strength of schedule, Josh, Yenzer, White, Man Our Nation, Picks and Pundits, it is just a tangible aspect that we can have talking points during the month of May, June, and July. Those are the facts. Just like the PFF ratings, right? Those are tangible things that we can see and put rankings into something and just give us something to talk about. But the strength of schedule is 100% fugazi once the 2026 NFL season starts. Josh says, I think they are contenders, but their defense is old and can be shaky. So, Josh, the last 2 seasons, meaning 2024 and 2025, the Washington Commanders had the oldest defense in the NFL. I believe the average age was 33.2 or something like that, if my memory serves me correctly. Now, they are under the age of 30. They've gotten, quote, younger. They've gotten faster. They've gotten stronger and bigger, faster, stronger, whatever, right? However, when you have relied on those old heads, those dogs, those veteran players, and then all of a sudden go rely on some rookie players or unproven players, you are correct. Their defense is the biggest question mark if I'm a Commanders fan. Yender says the Commanders had a fluke year playing an injury-ridden Lions team in the playoffs. So let's flash back to, what was it, 2024. Divisional round playoffs? What was it, a divisional round? I think so. As you are correct, Yenzer, I believe the Detroit Lions had 21 players on IR, 17 from them from defense, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just going off of the old dome piece here. But Lions fans, 49ers fans, Chiefs fans, hell, even the Arizona Cardinals fans said next man up, next man up, next man up, next man up. Now there are Bears fans like, oh, we signed him off the street, whatever. You gotta look at the end of the day, when you are on a NFL team, you are a NFL player. When you start for this said team, you are a NFL starter. So yes, you may not be as good as the other 15 guys that are like, that are hurt. But the simple fact of the matter is you are on the NFL team. You're preparing this for your whole life. Step up. Now, I can give credit where credit is due. The Commanders were hot. The Commanders were cooking. Everything was going in the Commanders' way. Everything not going in the Detroit Lions way. But at the end of the day, it is the next man up. And to say it was a fluke, the Commanders beat the Lions up and down the field. It wasn't even close. It was like 45-16 or something. Like it was just belt to ass all game long. I don't think if the Lions had all their starters and 100% healthy that they stood a chance. Honestly, it was just one of those games that everything clicked with the Washington Commanders in that particular game. Steve says a big trade is coming to Green Bay. Sweat or Porter Jr. or both or someone else. I don't think any of those guys are getting traded to the Green Bay Packers. We will not see a big trade in the next couple days. Just not going to happen. Now. Before I believe Halloween is a trade deadline. Steve, correct me if I am wrong. But Steelers start 0-6. The Cardinals start 0-6. Potentially off some salary cap. I could see it. Joe, what's up, Joe? He says the Commanders are going as far as Jaden Daniels takes him. Period. End of story. You are not wrong, Joe. You are not wrong at all. You are 100%. That is 100% factual statement. We've seen it last year. We've seen it the year before that. I'm curious to see how David Blout and Jaden Daniels mesh together. We'll see. John Doerr says the Bears still suck. That is tough. And Joe, this is exactly what I was referring to as losing somebody and getting somebody. But Laramie Tunzel, which Joe says hurts them though. So as you guys know, Laramie Tunzel tore his pec, I do believe, out for at least 6 to 8 months. He is out for a long, long time, potentially the whole season. Yenzer says, even though Detroit really never had a dominating defense, so I got to throw that excuse out there. Listen, if my memory serves me correctly, that particular season, the Detroit Lions had a 15th ranked defense. They were not good. They were not good. You know, Yenzer says Porter's not going to be wearing that ugly ass Packers jersey. That is tough. Josh says the Commanders won that game 45-31, and Jared Goff had 4 turnovers. Josh, I am going to concede that I do not remember the score off the top of my head. However, I can tell you that 45-31 score is a cloudy eye score, right? Because let's go back and look at that game, and the Commanders dominated the Lions up and down the field. Listen, that score indicates what is a 14-point game, whatever it is. It was much worse than a 14-point game. It was like a 50-0 shutout game. Like that's what the score should have been. But the score is probably correct. You are probably correct on that. Yenzer says, unless the Packers are kicking 2 first rounds and paying him $35 million, it's not happening. Joey Porter Jr. is not going. And flashing back to the Commanders Lions playoff game, Joe says Goff was running for his life all game long. That is a factual statement as well. Well. So guys, just to review here, I have the Dallas Cowboys as contenders. I have the New York Football Giants as contenders. I have the Washington Commanders as pretenders. And now we get to the final team in the NFC East, and that is the Philadelphia Eagles. Man Hour Nation picks and pundits, Huddle Sports Network. Are the Philadelphia Eagles contenders or pretenders in 2026? Here's the one that's going to get the people angry. This is my prediction that's going to get the people going. This is my prediction when the Eagles fans are going to be like, Buck, you fucking homer. Guys, the Philadelphia Eagles are pretenders. Yes. That team that just went 11-6 and won the NFC East last season. That team with Jalen Hurts. That team with Saquon Barkley. That team that I have missing the playoffs in 2026 NFL season. Because at some point, we have to stop grading teams based on the names and remember to start looking at the football team standing in front of us. Guys, the Philadelphia Eagles won 11 games last year. Yes, but that offense was already throwing warning signs everywhere. The Eagles finished 23rd in passing yards. They only scored 20 points or fewer in 10 games last season, including their 23-19 playoff loss to the San Francisco 49ers. Think about that. 10 games, 20 points or less. And then what did the Philadelphia Eagles do this offseason? They traded A.J. Brown. That is massive. A.J. Brown had more than 1,000-yard receivings in each of his 4 seasons with the Philadelphia Eagles. You simply do not remove a receiver like that and act like nothing has changed. Yes, now Devontae Smith becomes a clear number 1 guy. They added Wicks from the Green Bay Packers. They added Hollywood Brown, and they drafted Malachi Lemon. Fine, I get that. But none of those guys are A.J. Brown. None of them. And then there's another change. Another offensive coordinator. Sean Mannion takes over the offense in 2026. That means, once again, Jalen Hurts has to learn another system. And Philadelphia Eagles' offensive problems last season wasn't the personnel. They were somatic. They rank near the bottom of the NFL in several areas, including motion, play action, and under center usage. So now you're changing the scheme while systematically changing one of your most important offensive like players. And don't forget the offensive like line either. Jeff Stoutland is gone. To me, that is huge. That offensive line has been the offense for the Eagles for years. Lane Johnson is back, but he's another year older. Matter of fact, he has said this is his last year. Landon Dickerson has been dealing with like injuries, and the right guard position has already been an issue coming out of last year. And Philadelphia lost talent on defense as well. Jalen Phillips is gone. Dean is gone. Reed Blankenship is still in Houston, not coming back. Brandon Graham is gone on as well. They lost multiple edge players and defensive backs as well. Now, yes, Howie Roseman has made some moves. Jonathan Grenard, injured. You brought Woolen in, injured. I mean, there's still talent there. I'm not calling the Philadelphia Eagles trash. That's not what a pretender means. A pretender means I don't have them making the playoffs. I think the NFC East has caught the Philadelphia Eagles at the wrong time. Dallas is improving. The Giants are improving. And Washington still has Jaden Daniels. Meanwhile, the Eagles are replacing his number one receiver, installing another offense, and replicating several significant players on defensive side of the ball. And here's the part that gets dangerous. Everybody keeps saying, but they're the Eagles. Howie will figure it out. Maybe. But repetition doesn't get one of those 7 playoff spots. Production does. And I think the Eagles take a bigger step backwards than people expect. Guys, the Eagles are pretenders in 2026. They're not repeating as NFC East championships. They are not taking one step further, and they missed the playoffs completely. Now, Eagles fans, Philly boy Eagle, you can yell at me all you want. Tell me why I am wrong. But what will the Philadelphia Eagles record be in 2026? Guys, let me know down in the comments down below. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the Man Hour at youtube.com/Man Hour. It catches live Monday through Thursday at 9 p.m. East Coast time right here at youtube.com/Man Hour, because the Eagles are pretenders. Now let's get into the comments and discuss your thoughts. Josh also says they are contenders, but they lost some players, including Blankenship and A.J. Brown. Listen, Reed Blankenship last year to the Houston Texans was huge. I don't understand how you let him just walk away and not get some type of compensation out of him. A.J. Brown, you can call a spade a spade. He's a cancer. He's this, and this. 3-time All-Pro, 4,000-yard seasons in the Philadelphia Eagles. That is tough. That is tough. But Josh also says they still have a championship defense, and I disagree. I disagree with that because I think their defense lacks character. I think their defense lacks heart. Jalen Carter, the boy that's been on Dak Prescott last season. When you look at every single trade rumor that the Eagles had this offseason, he was the heart of every single trade rumor. The Eagles wanted to get rid of him. Nobody took the bait. And then all of a sudden they make him the highest paid defensive tackle, second highest paid defensive tackle in the NFL. That is tough. I don't think that is a super caliber defense. And John Dorn says the Eagles will go 1-16, only beating the Bears. And that is tough, John Dorn. That is tough. I'm not going to go that big homer on you, but I think the Eagles are a 7 to 9 win team. I don't see them as a 13, 14, 15 win team. I just don't see it. Joe says the Eagles are a pick'em. Hard to say because they have crazy talent, but locker room issues with Sirianni and losing A.J. Brown. They could win 11 games or they could win 7. No shock either way for Joe. And Joe, I think that's kind of where I'm at too, right? Like at some point you got to put your money where your mouth is, and I'm calling them pretenders because I don't like Nick Sirianni. The reason why I do not like Nick Sirianni is because every time there is an issue with a player, with the Philadelphia media, or whatever, Nick Sirianni seems to be the center of that controversy. He seems to insert himself into every single, like, he has to be like the center of attention. Because if you guys remember just a couple years ago, the Philadelphia Eagles lost to the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl. The next year, they were a one and done in the playoffs when they lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, if I'm not mistaken. Everybody wanted to fire Nick Sirianni. He was the issue. He was the cancer. He was the reason why the Eagles started 11-0 and ultimately lost 5 of their last 6 or whatever it was, right? He was the reason. He was the reason. He was the reason. But then all of a sudden they start winning again, and he's the reason why they're so great. Like, you can't have your cake and like eat it too. I think Nick Sirianni is the biggest red flag in Philadelphia. Josh Olsen has the Eagles finishing 11-6 this season. So repeat of last year. Not better or not worse. That's tough. Ginger says, funny, I remember a lot of Packers fans saying Porter Jr. is not that good last season. Now, all of a sudden, they all want him. That's kind of how it goes. Laura Johnson says, hey, what's up, man? Our Pete's Skull Nation.
Pigskin pun. Get you some.
Guys, Laura is a pigskin punny. Guys, head over to youtube.com/manhour. For 99 cents a month, you get a 400% return on investment. You get pick'em week free entry to the weekly NFL pick'ems to win some $1 bills, y'all. And Laura says, Skull Nation, get out of here with that. Get out of here with that. Steve, go Pack go all day long, says Porter says playing with Parsons will be epic as Parsons is better than TJ Watt. Did Micah Parsons and Joey Porter Jr. play together in Penn State? I don't remember that. Did they? I'm gonna have to go look that back up. Because I do have the Philadelphia Eagles as pretenders in 2026. But guys, as you guys know, as you can tell, I'm losing my voice. I am under the weather. I am down with the sickness. It is not going away anytime soon. But we will be back tomorrow as we continue our contenders and pretenders list. Laura says she's ready for week 1. She's ready for the Minnesota Vikings to start 0-1 and trade Justin Jefferson to the Las Vegas Raiders. Make it happen. But guys, we will see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. AFC East. Contenders or pretenders list. Till then, guys, we out.
Hey, now it's time to take off. Gotta keep it live and raw. Better stay tuned in.